restoring a vehicle. Done right, it can be one of the most rewarding things you can ever undertake. Done wrong, it can turn your life upside down. Shake the money out of your pockets and squeeze the sanity from your brain. Stacey David's Restoration Series is here to help you do it right. So you can keep your money and your sanity. And enjoy the fruits of your labor. So grab a wrench and let's get cranking. Stacey David's Restoration Series is brought to you by LMC Truck, Keep 'em on the road, and Cornwell Tools, the choice of professionals.
Hey, welcome to the Gears Restoration Series. Today we're going to be jumping into a restoration subject that we get a ton of questions about. Floors, carpets, sound deadener, that kind of thing. Now, the reason this is such a big subject is it can sneak up on you if you're not careful. I mean, you never really talk about your floors. People don't think about them. You're not going to invite your buddies over to check out your carpet like you would your new crate engine. But it's always there, lurking under your feet. And eventually, you're going to start to smell that carpet. And then you're going to realize, I've got to do something about my floors. All right, the first thing that you have to realize about your floor and the carpet and the sound deadener and that stuff that sits on top of it is that you're going to have to deal with that no matter what level project you're working on. So it's important that you plan it out ahead of time in your planning book so it doesn't come up and catch you by surprise. So today we're going to walk you through some tips and tricks on how to restore a floor, how to replace carpet and sound deadener so there's only good stuff going on underneath your feet. Okay, the first step to any floor or carpet restoration is to do some disassembly because you gotta be able to get to the floor. And that starts by removing the seats. And what you find under those is gonna give you some clues on what you might find lurking under the carpet. Once the seats are out of the way, you'll need to pull off anything that's bolted or screwed to the floor. This includes the shifter boot or the console, the door sill plates, and the seat belts. Now, as with any project, anytime you're doing a disassembly, you need to be bagging and tagging every part as you take them off so you can remember where they came from and what you need to replace. Okay, with all the parts out of the way, you're ready to pull out the old carpet and sound deadener and see what you have. With the carpet out, the first step is to look the floors over for any trouble spots. Don't be concerned with surface rust or mild pits, but be on the lookout for soft spots or rust holes, because these are signs that the rust is bad enough to warrant a patch panel or a floor pan replacement. Don't cover it with Bondo. Don't cover it with fiberglass. Don't pretend it's not there. It needs to be repaired. Okay. This is where your project hits a crossroads because you're either going to have a fairly solid floor or you're going to have a rusty floor. And that little fact will have a huge impact on your timeline, your project, your budget. Heck, it can affect everything you planned on doing to the project. Because rust replacement will almost always elevate a project to a higher difficulty level because it's going to require more specialized tools, time, and skill, depending on how much fabrication is involved. Now, the reason I call this a crossroads is that if you've discovered rusty floors and you don't have the skills or the tools to fix them properly or the money to spend to have somebody fix them for you, then you may want to consider selling the vehicle and finding something that's more in line with your skill level. Now, I know some of you are going to go, wait a minute, man, this is my dream car, don't you understand? It's like, no, listen, if you don't have the time, the skills, the money, the budget, the tools to restore a vehicle, that doesn't sound like a dream car to me. That sounds like a nightmare. And remember, the idea here is for you to have a car that you can put together and go out and enjoy. Not something that's going to sit for 5 years in your garage that you're going to cuss at because you can't finish it. So, make sure you're planning accordingly. Now, obviously, rusty floors, rusty sheet metal is a big issue, especially on level 4 and level 5 projects. And we've covered how to repair them on the Gears TV show. We're going to cover them on this series a lot as well. However, not today. Today we're going to be talking about what goes down on top of solid floors, because that covers level 1, 2, and 3 projects. So let's get to it. Okay, once you've determined that your floors are solid or you've fixed them properly, you're going to want to seal the floors to prevent any rust in the future. And the best way to do this is with a rust preventative paint that's designed to seal the metal and lock out both air and moisture. Now make sure that you let the paint soak into any seams and cracks where moisture can gather and hide, because these are breeding grounds for rust. All right, once your paint is dry, you are ready for your sound deadener. Now, most replacement carpets come with a factory-style jute pad glued right to them. But as you can see, they're only about 1/4 inch thick, and they're adequate, but they're only in certain areas too. So they're only going to do so much. So if you want to be able to control the temperature in your vehicle, and you want it nice and quiet inside like a newer vehicle, well, you need more than that. So you're going to want to step up to a complete sound deadener pad. Now, this is one we got from LMC Truck for this '86 Chevy. And as you can see, it has a much thicker jute style pad on one side, and then it has this reflective material. So it's not only going to deaden sound, but it's also going to reflect heat better, and it covers the whole floor. So these two pieces together are going to be really good. However, if you want your vehicle to thump like a brand new Mercedes, there is one more step that you can add to this. Come on. This is called Boom Mat, and it's designed to control both heat and sound. Now, as you can see, this is very thin, but on one side, you have this kind of rubbery tar-like material, which is very sticky, and then on the other side, you have an aluminum backing plate. Now, the cool thing about this is you can put it over a piece of metal and then just easily contour it to whatever shape you need. This stuff not only acts as a heat barrier, but it completely eliminates any kind of sonic vibration in metal panels. If you want quiet, this will give you quiet. The only drawback to Boom Mat is that once you put it on, it's not easy to get off. Installing it is as simple as pre-fitting and laying out the pieces. Make sure you leave openings for any bolts or hardware that mount in the floor, because once this stuff is on, it's hard to find those holes again. Then we'll just pull the plastic backing and set the pieces in place. A roller will help you shape the mat to the contours of the floor. And since it's so thin, you'll never know it's under the carpet. After that, you can lay in your sound deadener. A little spray-on adhesive is all you need to hold it in place. Okay, now you're ready to fit your carpet. Now, even though most aftermarket carpets come molded and fitted for your floor pan, there's still some things you have to do. Because you have to cut access holes for your shifter and your seats and your seat belts and anything else that comes up through the carpet. Now, as you can see, this carpet has indentations in it telling you where those holes need to be. Word of caution here, don't trust that. They're not always accurate. There's just too many variables going on here. So what you want to do is take a screwdriver or a punch, and with the carpet in place, stab around until you find the hole. Now all you have to do is roll the thing upside down, use that as a pattern, cut out the hole, and you're ready to go. The last step to fitting a carpet is to work out all the wrinkles in the floor pan and to trim your edges. Now, a heat gun will help relax the backing plate and make it easier to get those wrinkles out of the way. Now, if the carpet keeps moving around on you, a little bit of spray adhesive will help hold it in place. Now, once you have it fitting right, put on some new sill plates, install the shifter or the console, and then throw in some new floor mats, and your floor is done and ready for whatever you want to throw at it or spill on it. Now, hopefully this has you thinking, man, this is not that hard, and it's not. This is something pretty much anybody can do, and it's something pretty much everybody's going to have to do no matter what level of project you're working on, and it makes a huge difference in your interior, but not as big a difference as replacing your seats and your door panels. But that's a project for another day.